One area government is launching a new program, and the sky's the limit on what it can do for the city. In the first of a two-part series, Shannon Sladden tells us how Plymouth's new drone program will change how city workers work.
I don't think we quite know how much of a game changer it's going to be.
Plymouth is taking to the air.
Accessing views and situations that are not readily accessible on foot right now.
From public works to promotions to the police, Plymouth's new drone initiative promises to make it easier to get city business done.
A big one for us is going to be stormwater inspections. So it can be difficult to cross, wet and rough terrain to get a look at these stormwater ponds.
Laurie Hokanen will oversee the new program. She says stormwater pond inspection is one example of how drones will make city workers more efficient.
Physically getting your eyes on the structures within the pond, it's putting on the waders, it's getting in the pond or getting close to it. If we were able to stand on the edge and fly in with a drone with a 30 megapixel camera, we could probably do that a lot quicker than actually getting a person in.
But it's not just inspections that will become more efficient. The city also plans to use drones to map crowd movement at events.
Something like music in Plymouth, where we have over 10,000 people that routinely attend, and at the end of the night everybody wants to go home at the same time. So one of the things that we're hoping this year is we'll be able to use the drone to get a better idea of where people are parking, the inflow and outflow, and whether there are any improvements that we could make.
Police, too, will see the value in drones.
Missing persons cases or missing objects come to mind, certainly in disaster recovery and emergency management, where you might need to get a quick view.
But the city anticipates some residents might be concerned about what exactly their drones are taking pictures of. Staff hopes to reassure residents that privacy will be respected.
It's very important. And so there are activities that require a search warrant right now, and if we were ever to use a drone in those type of activities, a search warrant would be required for that as well.
And that includes a policy that dictates when a drone's camera will be rolling and when it won't.
If we're flying the drone, from a location to a stormwater pond, and it's not necessary to record during the flight to get it there, we won't record. We'll take the pictures once we get there.
Getting a drone program off the ground is no small undertaking. The city will spend around $20,000 buying 3 drones and training staff in using them. And that training will include certification from the Federal Aviation Administration. Well, big changes will soon be coming to a local Target store in the northwest suburbs. According to the Star Tribune, Target will perform end-to-end makeovers in the year ahead on 300 stores nationwide, including 14 in Minnesota. Target in Crystal is one of the stores to make the cut. The report says that remodeled stores have consistently provided a sales lift of 2 to 4% within 6 to 8 months of the remodel. Well, much has changed in northern Brooklyn Park. As Corey Bork reports in this week's Business Matters, the city no longer has to recruit businesses. Instead, city officials say it has a waiting list of companies wanting to move in.
3, 2, 1.
It's the latest business to find a new home north of Highway 610.
We're the first credit union in the state of Minnesota, started in 1925.
Firefly Credit Union moved in search of a more modern space in a new, up-and-coming area.
Everybody says they're different, but we truly live, we walk and talk it.
The company not only has seen change in its industry,
we're seeing considerable changes in consumer behavior. People who have a vested interest in the morality of the financial organization they belong to. That's critical.
But also has seen change in the area it moved into.
Around this area, it just developed so fast.
Brooklyn Park City Council member Terry Park says when he first took office 4 years ago, the city had roughly 25% of land left to develop. Now Park says it's down to about 11%. Development north of 610 is a big reason why.
Firefly isn't the only business that opened here recently. Just last month, Freddy's opened its 4th Twin Cities location.
The development began taking off a few years ago with places like the Stone Mountain Pet Lodge. More is expected.
The line's northern end will be Oak Grove Parkway Station in Brooklyn Park.
The future Metro Blue Line extension anticipates more growth and more people.
Right now we have 80,000 people that live here, and I don't think it's going to be long before we have 100,000.
Back at Firefly Credit Union,
Our strategy is fairly simple. We put the consumer first.
the focus is on growing relationships with customers while growing itself.
We're seeing year-over-year growth, considerable growth, nearly double digits in our member growth side.
For Business Matters, Corey Bork, CCX News.
Some of the top female golfers are coming to Maple Grove on May 7th. Rush Creek will be one of 25 courses to host a one-day qualifying event. There is plenty at stake for those participating.
The cool thing about this one is that the girls that qualify get to move on straight to the U.S. Open. And you know, sometimes, you know, when the men's have their qualifier, they have to go to another sectional, and then that's when all the tour pros get into it, and it's really tough to do. But it's kind of a unique deal where when we host it here, that the qualifiers will get to move on right to the national championship.
The qualifier is just another major golf event at Rush Creek. The venue has hosted many national tournaments, including 3 on the LPGA Tour. Fans coming to the course will see amateurs and professionals with impressive golf resumes. Well, the quest to raise money for July's Whiz Bang Days fireworks celebration in Robbinsdale officially kicked off last week. This here is video from last year's show along Crystal Lake. A member of the Whiz Bang Days committee launched a GoFundMe page to help pay for the annual fireworks display. The goal is to raise $3,500. If you'd like to contribute, you can find a link on our website, ccxmedia.org.
Hopkins was back in the state boys basketball tournament for the first time in 3 years. The Royals made the most of their time in Minneapolis. Hopkins facing Lakeville North in the Class 4A championship. Kerwin Walton pops a 3 as the Royals take a 7-4 lead in the early going. Zeke Najee with a 3 for the left wing, and the Royals stretch their lead to 8 at 21-13. It's 24-17 Hopkins at the half. The Panthers come out strong to start the second half. Tyler Wall gets the dunk on the alley-oop as part of a 9-0 run. They go in front 26-24. But Andy Stafford and the Royals quickly regain the lead for good. Stafford scores 10 points. It's a sluggish half offensively for a while, but Walton heats up, burying a 3 for a 5-point Hopkins lead. And Walton does it again a bit later, sinking another 3 as part of a 17-point game for him. Hopkins has this one in control at 38-26. And the Royals hoist the championship trophy for the 8th time in the 2000s, and the 10th time overall with a 55-40 win.
Our main focus was just play hard, really. I mean, we didn't have like no secret plan or something complex. I mean, all we was focused on was just playing really hard, you know, every possession, you know, just every time down on defense, and offense we just, you know, let it flow.
Saturday in the Class 4A third-place game, Park Center beat Eastridge 61-59 with Tommy Chapman scoring the winning basket in the final seconds. Chapman and Kahari Broadway each scored 15 points in the win as the Pirates finished the season with a 30-2 record. The NCAA Women's Hockey Championship game between Minnesota and Wisconsin features some Northwest Suburban flair. Wayzata High School graduate Sophia Schaefer, number 12 in white, scored the first goal of an eventual 2-0 win for Wisconsin. Senior Shaver is one of the captains for the Badgers. Maple Grove grad Brianna Blessy is a backup goalie for Wisconsin. The game was also the last in a Gophers uniform for Plymouth's Kelly Panic, a former Benilde St. Margaret star and U.S. Olympic gold medal winner. Maple Grove grad Taylor Wente and Grace Zumwinkle also played for Minnesota. With winter sports now done, spring teams are practicing for the season. The Park Center softball team has a new coach this spring, and it's aiming to rebuild after a few down seasons. Here's Jason Malillo with a preview of the Pirates.
Kurt Cardinal is the new skipper for Park Center softball. He coached Academy of Holy Angels for 3 years, guiding the Stars to the state tournament in 2018.
I've lived in Brooklyn Park for the last 36 years, so I feel like this is my home community, and coming to Park Center is a great way to give back to the community. And I knew that they've struggled the last few years, and I'm kind of a rebuilding type of coach, and this is a rebuilding job, and I'm excited to get going at it. And we just gotten started, but I really like what I'm seeing so far.
It's a really good, fresh, new start, and nice to have new philosophies in the Park Center softball world. And he has a good head on him, and he knows what he's doing with all of us.
The Pirates are focusing on being sound defensively, hoping solid fielding will give them the chance to win close games. PC also has 2 good pitching options in freshman McKenna Dugas and senior Lexi Colbert.
This year I'm feeling pretty comfortable with the pitchers this year because one of them, she's a returning varsity player. She took it last year off, but she's coming back. She's coming back strong. And then we have a freshman that's returning, and she's coming back pretty strong too. She's built up some speed.
It wasn't too long ago that Park Center softball was on top. The Pirates won back-to-back state titles in 2010 and 2011. Starting to get PC back to that level is a goal for the 2019 squad.
For so many years so far, the softball name has been like drugged down, like, oh, we're just playing Park Center. But now as Coach Kurt is here, it kind of feels like he's helping us build up, and teams as the years go on are going to be like, oh crap, we're playing Park Center.
Jason Malillo, CCX Sports.
Park Center is scheduled to open the season April 8th against St. Paul Central. That's all for sports. More news after this.